some things that just aren't true. Since we're spending a week talking about history, I'd like to just run through some things that are actually being proven scientifically as just simply not true that we have been believing for quite some time. Like one is survival of the fittest. Dog eat dog. You know, this is being proven as just simply not true. If you really look at nature, and even Darwin saw this, that it's cooperation between species and individuals in a species that creates survival, that makes survival possible. It's the way that things interact with each other and cooperate with each other that makes survival possible. I guess there's no other way to say that. So survival of the fittest isn't true at all. It's a lie. So all that, just think of how much dumb stuff is created in our society around the idea of survival of the fittest. I mean, like political parties, ideas, wars, survival of the fittest. No, the real story is survival of the most cooperative, survival of those who can really get along together. That's out in nature. That's what creates the best survival. Now, it is true that conquering nations, we've been talking about that a lot, that once in history, you had a couple of powerful people who were able to convince men to go to war and march together and kill things and become these hugely destructive forces. Once that happened, those societies did survive and did conquer. But look at the broader picture. Is that we have just literally conquered ourselves to death, haven't we? Haven't we? We're destroying the world. So you do not survive by destroying your habitat. Basic common sense and science. So survival of the fittest, it doesn't exist in nature. Survival of the interdependent, that is what survives in nature. Another one is, the caveman dragging the woman along by the hair. And all the stories we hear about, the paleo diet, the man out there with his sword, bringing home the food. No, that's a lie. That's a lie. Women are the ones who have always fed everybody. And women have always been there. You and I wouldn't be here if women hadn't always been there. I mean, it's just totally, none of the history stories have been written about, all the women that came and did everything. Here's a fun aside. The story of Donner Pass. Remember that one? It's the wagon train. They're trying to get to California, and they get a little late. And they get up on Donner Pass, and they're just whammed by this huge early storm and just get totally snowed in. And cannibalism ensues. But what only a few of the history books tell us is that every one of the parties that had a woman in it, nobody died. It was the single men who died. Women kept them alive. We know how to do stuff. Women have always been there. So this is a part of history. This is just a total lie that we've been given. I mean, it's almost like if you actually read history, it's almost like women didn't exist at all. Yes, we did. Still do. Oh, here's another really good one, and then I'll go for this video. There have been hardly any enlightened women. Baloney. Baloney. The only thing is that these enlightened people that we hear about are just that small handful of guys who managed to become famous. Like you can even just look at it in today's world, right? We have a really good example, Eckhart Tolle. Fabulous, beautiful story, beautiful human being, has some fairly good teachings. Boring as heck. Yeah. But he wrote a really good book. Became enlightened, wrote a really good book, ended up on Oprah, famous, very, very, very rich. So everybody knows about Eckhart Tolle, right? But you get onto YouTube and there's tons and tons and tons of little obscure people who are posting things. And that right there, even me, I'm an example. The only people that you see on YouTube are the people that are actually posting to it. That's good. That's just a small little sliver of the awakened people that are on the planet. And so there's just always been tons of awakened women. Two things. One, they probably don't speak up because why bother? And besides, they're busy with kids and grandkids and feeding people. And two, if they do try to speak up, they'll just be completely ignored because women are just invisible. Especially smart, powerful, not beautiful women are just invisible. So there haven't hardly been any enlightened women. Baloney. There have been millions and millions and millions. You can walk down the street and walk right past one and not know it. Could be happening every single day and you don't know it. So there's another. Just not true. So all of these things so inform our idea of who we are. You think that to become enlightened, you have to end up like Eckhart Tolle, sitting there, No, you can be enlightened and be kind of like a snarky YouTube poster. You could be a drunk down at the bar. Why not? You could just be a construction worker. You could be a waitress down at the local diner. Be anything. You could be you. So you don't have to become the something else. So that's a big, big, big lie. But the biggest lie is thinking that history only started with the written word. Not true. Written history started with the written word. And pretty much all of that should be suspect. Because the only way you can have the written word is if you have a language that can be written. And that kind of a language is going to be the kind of a language that divides things into something, that names things. And so that's going to be kind of a divisive language right there. But I mean, at least 100,000 years, human beings have been living happily on the planet until the written word happened just a flittering of time ago. So these stories don't help us. let's start really, really looking for stories that do help us. And of course, I'm posting as many really good books as I can find to my website. So go there. There's a reading list. Um, my recommendation is get a Kindle because you're not going to be destroying a tree. You can just download that baby to your phone. Get a Kindle app on your phone. You got your phone with you everywhere you go anyway. Stop watching so many YouTube videos and start reading books. They're so much better, you know? And so download this onto your phone and then spend some time. You just read a little bit here, you read a little bit there, next thing you know, you've gone through a book. Read a little bit here, read a little bit there. Next thing you go, you've gone through a book. So find this really great stuff and read it because these new stories are the fuel, the flower that's going to bloom into this new world that we're creating. We got to have good stories of who we are if we want to have a good world.